Morning, our dear listeners, and thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel, The Conseil de la Vie. Yeah, today I have a very interesting story about the tips to enhance students' academic performance. Yeah, in our schools, we always have a struggling student, the students who are struggling academically, and this is the reason why I've chosen this topic to help teachers to use these tips in order to help their student to perform well academically. So we are going to see together, as I come to say, different tips to enhance student academic performance. Uh, you know, the learning process of a student uh, is influenced by psychological factors. Those psychological factors are mental faculties of our students, which are put in action while learning. Among those mental faculties of our students, which intervene in the learning process, we have interest. Interest is the passion of a student to do something. So, for the student to learn well, the teacher must focus on how he can capture the interest or the passion of the student to do something. Number two, we have attention. Attention is the mental focus on what student is learning. Another faculty is memory. Memory is the mental faculty of a student to store information or the content. We have also perception and imagination. Then we have intelligence, which is the capacity of the mind to understand the principles, truth, facts, and meaning, acquire knowledge, and apply it to practice. Lastly, we have motivation, which is the willingness to do something. So all those mental faculties like interest, attention, memory, perception, and imagination, even intelligence and motivation, intervene in the learning process of our student, and the teacher must know how to cater for those mental faculties in order to enhance the student performance. So let us see together the ways we can boost the interest, attention, even memory, perception, and imagination, intelligence, and motivation of our students to learn in order to help them performing well academically. Number one, we are going to see together how we can enhance the memory of our student. So memory is one of the mental faculties which intervenes in education, in the learning process of our student. If a student cannot memorize, he cannot learn well and perform well in the class. So the memory is very, very much crucial. So we are going to see together different mnemonic techniques that we can use in order to help our student master uh, their content and memorize the content we teach them. Number one, we have repetition. Repetition is used when you repeat the content, the student will memorize that content. You always repeat. This is one of the mnemonic technique which help our student to memorize the content. Number two is recitation. You can do the recitation, you recite the content, and the student are going to be able finally to memorize that content. We have recapitulation. After a sequence of learning, You come back to the previous content and make a recap of what students have learned, and this help to boost the memory of the student. Number 4, we have revision. Revision also help the student to remember and even memorize the content. So when we use these mnemonic techniques like repetition, recitation, recapitulation, and even revision, so our student will memorize well the content they learn. Number 2, it is the ways we can capture attention of our student. So attention is very, very much important for our student to perform well in the class. If the student is not attentive, he cannot run well in the class. So how then to capture the attention of our student? So for the student to focus on what we are teaching them, we have to vary activities during the lesson. The use of various activities during the lesson will capture the attention of our student. Number 2, there is the use of different learning style, audiovisual, visual, and kinesthetic. So here it requires to use various teaching aids, visual, audio, and audiovisual, and even kinesthetic. It means what student can touch and manipulate. So all this will retain student attention. And number 3, we have to use learner-centered methods, and the student will be or the learning will be centered on the student. Here we can cite, for example, group work, discovery techniques, brainstorming, debate, and discussion. All this will retain the attention of the student and hence focus on what they are being taught and finally perform well in the class. The technique number 3 is to use different and various teaching aids to excite students' perception and imagination. As you use various teaching aids, it will be easy for the student to understand what you are teaching him. And number 4, we have to give the student various and sufficient exercises. You know, English people says that practice makes perfect. So through various exercises and sufficient exercises, student will continue to practice what is being taught, and he will become perfect and perform well in the class. Number 5, we have individualization. So by individualization, you cater for individual differences, and you know where the student have challenges, and you can help him if you know where he is meeting challenges. So number 6, there is home-based coaching. So home-based coaching also can help the student to enhance his performance in the class, because those based coaching will help him to focus on him as an individual, and hence he can understand well and study on his speed, and he can even, it's a kind of individualization, if I can say. Number 7, there is a school orientation. The school orientation is also necessary to orient the student in the domains in which he feels more comfortable, because there are some students may find a problem, for example, in mathematics, and if he is not able to learn mathematics, he can learn languages. Yeah, so this is the reason why the school orientation is necessary to orient students in the field where they can feel more comfortable, where they are able to learn what they are being taught. So I think when we boost the memory of our student by using repetition, recapitulation, revision, and even recitation, and capture the attention of our student by using various teaching aids, using different exercises, varying the methods we use to teach and the approaches, so that our students do not feel bored and become active and participate in our learning, using home-based coaching, and orient students in the fields where they feel more comfortable, and where they are able to follow what they are learning, using also various exercises in our teaching. We can enhance our student academic performance. So dear teachers, use all these techniques. It will be very helpful, and me, I've used them, and it has helped me to cater for those students who are struggling academically, and I think if you put them in practice, it will be the same. Thank you so much. Next time.